Hi viewer, how are you? It's yet another day that we come to you excited. We always pray for you. We always look forward to coming in front of you to share with you a few things of finance related, money related. Things can help you get better in terms of finances. Your financial well-being is our bullseye. That's what we desire. We desire that you get well. We desire that you get financially whole. And that's why we spend time to prepare for these shows, to bring you information, to even call guests, invite guests that are going to share insights and things that would help you either make money or save money or not lose money. I remember we talked about scams a while ago, and you can go back and review that. We talked about ideas and how you can transform ideas from ideas to making money. All that we are after is a financially whole person, and that's what we look forward to. My name is Simon K. I'm always excited to be in front of you, and I have a friend of mine that I've thought would be of help to you, and will share a few insights and share something that I've not shared or tackled before in any of the other shows, something unique. I'm very privileged and honored to have with me a gentleman that I will allow to have him introduce himself. So karibu sana, very excited to have you. Kindly tell us who you are and a few things about yourself.
Thank you. My name is Henry Kinyanjui. I'm a lawyer. I have been a lawyer for about 10 years now, doing different things. Yeah, so and I'm happy to be here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So anyone looking at you and anyone looking at a lawyer, we always see people that want to make money out of us because of our ignorance on the law. And I know you will tell me there are simple things, things that we need to understand, but sometimes it's not as obvious, as straightforward. The law is not as obvious and as straightforward as anyone would think. So just to give anyone that has never been into a law school, what are laws? What are bylaws? What are just a brief overview of some of these things, laws, bylaws, just a personal laws, all these things, just a brief.
Okay, so first of all, I will comment on something you have said about lawyers taking advantage of ignorance of people. Lawyers are in business, and their work is to look for opportunities and to help people. Who need their help. And of course, because they're in business, they need to make a living out of it. So they're also looking for opportunities just like your ordinary business person. They are businessmen.
So they exploit the loopholes of our ignorance or our lack of understanding and grips of the law.
Maybe not exploit. Exploit is a
heavy word.
You know, when even doctors take care of people who are ill. Some of the illnesses are as a result of bad eating habits. So so when lawyers try to help people who found themselves, in need of such help, they are just taking advantage of an opportunity and perhaps maybe genuinely help the person, but somehow also make a living out of it. So lawyers are also in business, and their work is to help people who are in need of legal help, not necessarily exploit the ignorance of people.
Okay.
So and then you asked me about defining laws. I think there are as many definitions as possible as to define law. If you brought 10 lawyers here, 10 lawyers will give you 10 different definitions of law.
You see?
That's the problem of law, not of the lawyers, of law. What I can, how I can summarize it is that, laws are just, our rules are just basic things people set up for themselves. So we have, a society comes together and says, this is what we're going to set up for ourselves as basic common sense things. If I stretch my hand, I must make sure I don't knock your nose. So that's a common sense thing.
So to protect my nose, you have to come up with a law.
We have to set a rule. Like, don't stretch your hand so very fast when there's someone next to you. It's a common sense thing. So same thing. People now agree that we should not all be stretching our hands without looking at who's there. So that's one way of defining law. You could also define laws like basic personal, in terms of finances now, basic personal rules about money. I have set rules about money for myself that I don't take money from Shylocks, or I don't give money to people, or if I give you money as a rule, personal rule, I will not expect it back, and when you pay it, that's fine. I'll accept it. If you don't pay, I know it's a rule, or that I don't invest in certain things or certain things. So those are personal rules that people set up for themselves.
But the personal rules are not enforceable.
Those ones are
you only enforce it yourself.
You are your own policeman. You are your own judge. You are your own advocate. You are the one to decide your fate.
That's
up to you.
You made a poor decision.
Yeah, it's up to you. And sometimes people make mistakes and then come up with rules, and they learn that this time I was conned this way. Therefore, next time I will not
use the same route.
Yeah, but there are also other rules you can set up for yourselves for purposes of saving money. You can say, if I get 100 shillings or 100 shillings, 10 shillings will go to God for tithe. So that's a law related to your religion. 10% will go into investment. 10% will go into savings. 10% will go into things that I keep preparing here and there. And then 60%
is what you live on.
Is what I live on as a rule. So whatever money comes in, you already have a rule, a personal rule that helps you. Of course, informed by certain laws. Investment is informed by, I know one day in future I will need this money. By God, those set by God, I know God has demanded that we must give a certain percentage. Or those for savings, I know, even in the Bible it says, go to the ant. It goes and harvests during plenty and saves, so that because there is a day that will come, there won't be plenty. So saving. So those are laws, personal. No one is going to implement that. No one is going to begrudge you for not having them, but it would be better if you had them. And then now there are these other laws that are set up by society or by government. Let me just simplify it that way, by government. So, for example, we know if you want to set up a business, you must be prepared that you're going to be taxed. Because even the item you're selling, if you're selling commodities, there is an item that goes into tax out of that. If it is about things you're selling, you need to be prepared that when you make a profit, the taxman is interested.
So the taxman that doesn't just tax you, they have to come up with a law.
Yeah.
How that money will flow.
Yeah, there is actually a law. There are many laws that relate to tax. And for the technical details as to how they operate, of course, those ones you need to go and talk to a lawyer to be able to advise you, or a tax consultant to be able to advise you on how to be able to respond to all the requirements of setting up a business and to be compliant with KRA. So there are several of them. But at least you should know, whatever business you're setting up, the government is interested in not only just regulating how that business is conducted, but also making sure that you're also contributing somehow to the growth and development of the country. So that is how. So those laws, are set up by government, and by government I mean the government is the people. The people are the government. They are the ones who elect. People are the ones who elect leaders. Leaders are the ones who make decisions on behalf of government. So,
but sometimes, as you say, we are the ones that come up with these laws. Sometimes the mwananchi is not involved in some of these laws.
No, they are involved directly or indirectly. Directly by voting for the people, and when they vote for people, they go and represent them. So they exercise their sovereignty indirectly.
Okay.
So they are involved somehow. What they may not be involved in is the day-to-day, operations of government. Those ones are different. So those are some set of laws. And then the third category of laws, or how I could also try and define law.
So it's personal, government, and now the third one is
it's based on specific areas. Like we touched on business. We could go to land. There are specific regulations that relate to purchase and sale of land. You could go to import of goods. There are certain rules or regulations or laws that govern the import of goods or export of goods. So there are those area-specific laws that you need to be familiar with. So if you want to engage in business or in investment of a certain kind, you need to be familiar with that area of speciality. If you want to invest in land, you need to know, how do I invest in land? How do I make money by investing in land? So you need to know.
Or even, how do I not lose money?
Yes, absolutely. Many people have lost money. Many people have lost investments as a result of bad decisions for not knowing what law exists. You know, initially people used to just sell land based on agreement, word of mouth. Like, let's discuss. We want to sell you this land. You know how much. But now the law requires that a transaction for sale of land must be in writing.
Wait. Okay. Now. Okay. We'll come back to a number of questions that I had for you. Now that you're talking about land, are you telling me that I can't just give you land?
No.
What are the laws? What are some of the laws? Whatever comes to your
without going into the technical details of the law, when you're selling land, or let's assume you're buying because you're perhaps investing, it's a financial decision you have made as a family. You want to invest in land and you want to buy. Of course, first of all, you need to identify it. So the law requires that you do some, sort of due diligence on your part. Then you go and engage with the seller. When you engage with the seller, and of course you bargain and negotiate, what you agree upon, it has to be reduced in writing. And then when it is reduced in writing, it has to be witnessed. Not necessarily before.
Reduced is, you mean you have to write it down?
Yes, you have to reduce it in writing. Reduce it in writing is...
This is your language, okay, fine.
No, I mean, it's just English.
Okay, fine, it's okay. Yeah. We reduce it in writing.
Yeah, you just make sure it is in writing.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Make sure that it is written down.
It's written down,
and
yes.
that there is a witness. So that the witness says that it is true, these people agreed. Most of the time people go to lawyers to be able to witness. And the beauty of that is that lawyers are able to advise that for this land, for you to be able to actually own the land. Because in the agreement, you're going to agree. And like I said, some of those things are common sense. So, okay, fine, you want to buy this land. How much is it? Or how do I get it? When do I get it? How will I know that I have actually gotten it? So there are basic questions. So,
and what is my recourse in case I don't get the land?
Yeah, exactly. What happens in the event that we have agreed, I've given you the money and you don't give me the land? What are my options? Or what is my responsibility? So, or what is my option for that? So, yeah, so it has been reduced in writing. There's a witness, and then now you exchange the money, and then you do, due diligence. You do the search. You do, you collect the results from the search to confirm the person who's selling to you is the owner. And there are so many other technical details about land. That is why maybe you may want to engage a lawyer. To be able to help you. For us.
So you're telling the viewer it's advisable. It's not a must, but it's always advisable to work with a lawyer.
Yeah, and especially for land transactions, they must not only be reduced in writing, but they must be registered in the register of lands. But for it to be able for the title to come into your name, you need to have it, facilitated by a lawyer. There are some what we call transfer forms that must be signed by a lawyer. It must be witnessed by a lawyer, and that lawyer must be registered to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why you need, you need to have it witnessed by a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for that one,
Mm-hmm.
your title itoke,
Mm-hmm.
lazima kuna lawyer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You will need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm following this conversation very keenly. So the first one was, you said the personal laws. And then the second one, you said those are personal laws that you personally enforce. There is now the government laws, or government, I believe the national government and county government laws. Now the second ones are area specific. Area specific that you said, like customs.
Yeah, if you're importing
land,
goods,
all that.
land.
Okay.
And so many other area specific laws that you need to basically know. Yeah, there are so many.
Okay.
Yeah, like even banking, banking, there are so many laws. Insurance, there are so many laws that deal with that. There are so many area specific. So whichever business you want to engage in, you'd want to familiarize yourself with those areas. If you're in matatu industry, you need to know some basic traffic regulations and laws about matatu industry.
So in case, okay, I've heard of this question before, that there's so many laws. The laws keep changing. Now, and then again, even as the laws keep changing, assuming I'm entering into, I'm launching into a new field, do I have to know all laws? Because there's so many laws. Area specific, there are the government laws, the county government laws. Of course, the personal laws, those are person to person. Yeah. So do I need to know all these laws?
That's a good question. There is something we were taught in law school, and we were taught there's a philosopher called Savigny.
Okay.
John von Savigny. He said, law grows with the people and dies with the people. So as the society continues to grow, as the society continues to interact, then they continue to.
Savigny said,
yes,
the law grows with people.
Yes, the law grows with people. So as the people continue to interact, they begin to develop new laws. So it is not unusual for laws to be made to keep changing. So that's why we even change. We change computers from the old ones, because we've learned a new way of doing computers. We change, so that is exactly the evolution of things. Even laws should evolve with that. In fact, the challenge is that the law always doesn't catch up with the changes of society, not the other way around. But
the law changes, especially in this country.
Yeah.
The laws keep changing so fast. Like, for example, KRA, every year. Let me just give an example. The other day, we read, we had the budget read. So even before it becomes an act, there were things we know that were in the act. Parliament has gone and said they are removed. And then some are supposed to come into force in January. Others are supposed to come into force in September. How do I keep up with all this?
No, you see, until the bill becomes law and is assented to by the president, it can be changed. So sometimes the media misreports and says this is the law, yet it is not. It's just a bill that is pending in parliament. So it's very important to know the distinction between a bill that is being debated in parliament, which can be amended, some clauses can be removed, and that is part of like what you refer to is what we call the budget making process or budget making cycle. Which comes to an end with that bill that says, for this financial year, this is what we're going to require of all citizens or of all area specific whatever. So when it is now passed and assented, now then you can be able to access it. And then this information, these days of new age of information, all information is available. Okay. It is very much available. You just need to go to Google. Google will take you to relevant sites that will be able to guide you on the basic information that you need to know.
Like for example, when I'm referring, let's stay on the tax laws. It keeps changing, and the effective date, sometimes the revenue authority reads a tax commencement date different from the tax practitioners. The tax practitioners will read a different date. And sometimes you will find KRA coming to impose penalties because you did not you did not follow the law. And the reading and the interpretation is what was the difference. So me as a businessman, my tax guy read and told me I'm supposed to do A. The revenue authority has assessed me and told me you have 100 million assessment. What is my recourse?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, I'm not a tax expert, so I must give a disclaimer. That is not my area of specialty, but at least I know basic things about tax law. And your question, to your question, the idea of practitioners declaring the effective date. I'm not too sure.
Based on what I'm reading.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not too sure about the authority they have to be able to do that. So I think it would be advisable to follow what KRA says as opposed to what practitioners say. You may disagree with that, but that's my opinion.
Okay.
But then secondly, if a dispute arises and it is I based my claim on what the practitioner said, but KRA said that this is the date.
But there's some things that are not very clear.
Yeah, even the ones that are not clear. So you understood it because it was not very clear. This is how I understood it. So when a dispute arises between the taxpayer and the revenue authority, these days, this day of what we call alternative dispute resolution, ADR, we have many avenues of being able to resolve those disputes. They don't all need to go to court. What you need to do is to be able to go and sit with the taxman or the person who's making a decision that you are aggrieved by, and discuss and say, you see, this is what I thought, this is what you said, so let us try and resolve it. And it is done, and people are doing that.
Do we have an impartial arbiter?
Oh yeah, there's a tribunal that deals with specifically that issue of ADR in tax related disputes. There is a specific tribunal that deals with that. Again, this information is available online. You just need to Google. You don't need to go to an expert. You just need to Google ADR in tax whatever in Kenya, and you'll find all that information.
Okay.
It's available. It's also anchored in law. There is a procedure for that. There are many people who are, and I don't work for KRA. I don't want to represent them. I think you may want to look for a KRA person.
Okay, I will definitely look for one. I'll definitely.
But those are basic things that we can say about taxes.
Wow, thank you for saying that, because I think when someone gets an assessment, they begin scratching their heads as to how much, and you don't want to get into a fight with KRA. You want to ensure that you're doing very clean business and you're paying your taxes and you're not fighting with KRA. But then again, KRA sometimes gets it wrong. So you having to mention that there's a fallback for me, that it's not everything that KRA says that passes. It's good to know that there is an alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Very good. Now,
maybe before we leave that topic, let me say this: the idea of tax is not a new idea. It has been there from time immemorial. You remember Jesus that day? His disciples saw the taxman coming. And the disciples told him, Jesus, now this taxman is here. What do we do? Now, instead of, Jesus had many options. He could tell them, go and rebuke them. He could smite them with blindness. He could do many things. But what he told the disciples, please go to the sea. The first fish you catch, you're going to find something. And then give it to the taxman. He was ideally saying, and he said, give Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what belongs to God. So the idea here is, even from the Bible times, we can see clearly that man needs to pay tax.
You know the way you're smiling?
No, I'm just saying it's in the Bible. And we can't argue with that. It's in the Bible, so man needs to pay tax, but also, I agree with you, it is important for KRA to be able to make the proper assessment. And when there's a dispute, let people discuss and resolve those disputes.
And something, I've remembered something. KRA had something that I'd read. KRA had said the year 2021, anyone that declares you come to them and tell them that I had owed you X amount, and you declare it to them. They will waiver all the penalties and the interests. 2021. 2022. No, 22 next year. They will only waive, you go declare to them, they will waive 50% of the interest and the taxes. You pay the principal, the interest and the taxes that has accumulated, they will waive that, 50%. The third year, 2023, it's going to be, I think, 25%. And as you said, you're always referring us to the website. I think anyone can Google and find out for themselves, and you will save money. Yeah, you don't have to wait until they come to you and assess you and they penalize you. So now, quickly, as we come to, man, I like how time flies when we're having a good time. When as a business person or as an individual, when do I need a lawyer? When instances that I would really need a lawyer that can save me money? Because here we are looking at how I can make money and how I can be saved from losing money. So what are the instances that can come to you? Like when I'm opening a business, do I need a lawyer? If I don't, what are the pitfalls, or what how can I lose money? Yeah.
Okay. That's a broad question. It would require a whole day for discussing when you need a lawyer. It's a broad question because sometimes you actually don't need a lawyer, but there are sometimes we actually need a lawyer when the issues are very technical and they require technical appreciation of the law. Then you need a lawyer. But now these days the government, I think, in the what we call ease of doing business in Kenya. The idea is that to be able to register a business, back in the day when I was a younger professional, we used to make money from registering companies. And registering companies, you needed to go through a lawyer. There was no way you're going to register a company without a lawyer's input. So we used to prepare documents, take them to Sharia House, and then fill in the forms and fill in the documents and prepare and advise the clients and everything. And we were making good money out of it. But now, because of the government's desire to make Kenya, a business hub,
to save Kenyans from lawyers,
and also actually yes, to save Kenyans from that agony of going through lawyers. Nowadays, you don't need a lawyer to actually be able to incorporate a company or to register your own business. You just need to go to eCitizen and then you fill in the details. The forms are there; they are uploaded. You key in the details of your business, and you actually register the business. So for that, you don't need a lawyer. But now, when you register a business and you're already beginning to transact and you're beginning to make, profits and to make money, and then KRA is coming, or these other legal requirements, then you may want to go and get independent advice based on your area of specialty or area of interest. So that and as, like I said, this it will be a broad topic because every area has its own technicalities of technical requirements of the law. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with this other issue?
Someone has run away with my money.
Yeah. So Sasa, first of all, it means you didn't set up good personal rules for.
No, not my personal, my business.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't set up good rules, personal rules.
This person was
business
okay.
rules, business rules for that business. There's something we used to learn in law school. And I think you know this. There is a case called Salmon versus Salmon. That is an old case where the court said the business entity and you as an individual
are two different.
You as an individual director and the company are two different entities. And you must be able to, and it was for good reason. Of course, it was because there was a dispute. But if you apply that wisdom, even in your business, you will actually find that there was something good about it. You separate your business from your personal life. So that now you set the rules you set for yourself.
You set them for the business.
You can set the same rules for the business and say, for this business, for us to be able to grow, these are the rules that we're going to engage in. For everything that comes in, we pay KRA, we pay this, we invest this, we save this, and all of that. So, and then there are area specific, instances where you're actually going to need the services of a lawyer to be able to guide you on the technicalities of it. So that's how I would answer that. To say, let's have a whole day to discuss when do I need a lawyer. Of course, there are instances when you have been arrested, you have been charged, or you have been taken to court, and they are saying many things that you don't understand. It is a constitutional right for every Kenyan to be able to be represented by a lawyer of their choice. So that is an instance, an obvious instance when you need a lawyer, or you have lost money, like you said, and you want to, pursue the money that you have lost, or you are, someone was not honest with you, or they breached the contract, and you want to know what are my available avenues. Let me say one last thing. There is a recent development in our courts, and I think it's in the media. The judiciary has started what they call the small claims court. Small claims court.
Okay.
Small claims court to mean any debt, any transaction, any dispute of any amount less than $1 million. I think it is less than $1 million. There is a specific court, but here in Nairobi, that is set apart to be able to determine that dispute within a very short time. I think it's 90 days, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
Yes, so there's a court like that has been, it's, I think, now in the pilot stage, but the idea is to roll it out. So that these small claims, if you are claiming that someone stole your 600,000, you don't need to line up that case with all the other cases that are waiting to be heard of.
1 billion.
1 billion and all of that and all of that. These small ones, the judiciary has set up that, and I'm not a spokesman for judiciary again, but they have set up. I'm a lawyer, so they have set up that, and the idea is some of these things are very.
So there, can I go on my own, or I need a lawyer?
Absolutely, you can go on your own, and actually that's the idea that they have made it so easy that any person can actually walk in there, present their documents, just like eCitizen, what they did with eCitizen, doing away with the requirements of lawyers to file, to incorporate companies. I think that's the idea. Let's make justice accessible to as many people as possible, and then let us make it expeditious. Let us have the dispute heard in record time. In 90 days, and in 90 days we have a decision that we can implement.
Miezi tatu, my 500k tushajua kama I am getting it back or not.
Exactly. That is the idea, and it's a brilliant idea, I think. And I think once that idea is rolled out all over the country, we are going to have
So it's working in Nairobi?
Yeah, it's working in Nairobi. Again, I'm not the spokesman of the judiciary, but I can say that that is a pilot that is already rolled out for ease of. I think it was launched not too long ago. So I don't know how far they are with but the idea is there and it's being implemented.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, like I said, there are very area specific laws that you would need advice from a lawyer. That's what I can say.
Wow. I think that's a very good point to end this show. If you're in Nairobi and you have a case 1 million and below, there are small claims court that you can go to and have your matter sorted out within 90 days. I think that's very, very good. And as the lawyer said, we would need a whole day to go through all laws. There's so many laws, and we'll definitely get him back again to share now specific areas. Like I would want now company law as a law, injury and benefits and all that, that you tackle now specific laws. So thank you very much for coming and honoring the invite. And I believe the viewer has learned a thing or two. It's always good to have how you can learn to save money, learn how to make money, learn how not to lose your money. It's always our joy. Thank you very much for watching us. Until next time, God bless you and have yourself a wonderful day.